You know, not all heroes wear capes. And sometimes you just gotta clear out and let Michael Jordan drop 69 on them.
Okay, it's time that we have a come to Jesus meeting, because we got to talk about why it is that y'all will not stop having babies with Pookies and then looking for your husband later. Like Krishan Rock made a post saying that the next dude she deal with is going to be her husband. Why was that not the first dude you was looking for? Why would you have a baby by a Pookie like Blueface and then talking about you, Gary, go find your husband now? What is wrong? Like, they have to do some kind of study on a lot of y'all, because it's just no way that you could be this backwards. It's just no way that you out here picking so poorly and then trying to come back after picking poorly and making a permanent decision with a Pookie and then talking about you trying to find a husband. But that's a lot of y'all. It's a lot of y'all, right? And the dudes are obvious Pookies. These ain't dudes who maybe you didn't know he was. No, you obviously knew he was. These be dudes who pants be sagging, tattoos all over their face, can barely speak English, and you want us to believe that at some point you thought that they was going to be a good man or a good father to somebody. No, they never was. He hang on the block all day. He was never going to be no good husband or a good father to no child, right? But you're slow, right? And now you somewhere want somebody to come behind this loser and take care of you and his baby. Like, it has to stop.
Hold on, she cooking with gas right now. She cooking too hard right now, man. Continue.
Games have to stop, because at this point it's getting ridiculous. The fact that y'all are so comfortable having babies by bums and then talking about all of these requirements that you now all of a sudden have that you didn't have when you should have had them, right? Before you gave birth to some loser's baby is when you should have had the highest requirements that you have, but you waited until you're less of a catch to have these high standards, right? Am I saying that women with kids are not desirable? They get married every day, B, right? I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is you're absolutely putting a hurdle in your way to make it more difficult, right? If a man had to choose a woman with no kids or a woman with kids, he's going to go with the woman with no kids if they look exactly the same, right? But this whole getting pregnant by random Pookie loser men and then talking about now you ready to up your standards and look for a husband, be for real.
Give it up for her. She took him straight to the rack, man. Like, how many times have we heard this exact same scenario that she's talking about? Literally, like, it's happening so often that a lot of men have written single mothers off entirely. Then you get people like Dr. Umar, or you got whoever, Boyce Watkins, that wants you to step up. I'm not a stepfather, I'm the father who stepped up. But this is what I've been saying for a long time. I've been saying that older women, I said older women, but apparently older women have not come to the task. So now you got this, I'm assuming, millennial coming in with some common sense. And she's evolved over the years. I mean, she hasn't always been here, but that's exactly what wisdom is supposed to teach you. To gain more knowledge and understand the errors of your ways. Start making some decisions that will serve you into the future. But unfortunately, a lot of women will hear this and think it's some type of attack. This is the same problem they had with Kevin Samuels. This is the same problem they're having with anybody who says anything in opposition to them. When the truth of the matter is, if you made some different decisions, you would get some different outcomes. But she wasn't done just there. She had a little bit more to say.
My video about having babies by Pookies and then looking for a man of substance later is going viral now, right? The girlies are mad. They on Instagram going crazy in the comment section. But you know why y'all mad? You mad because you know it's the truth. If there was no validity and no truth to what I was saying, you wouldn't feel so targeted, right? A lot of y'all are ashamed at the decisions that you made, but you shouldn't be. You made them, right? You live and you learn. It's no problem that you made a mistake and now you want to do better. That's great. But these conversations are for the girls who haven't did it yet. It's not for the ones who already have, because if you already did it, you learned your lesson and you're doing better, great. Love that for you. Exit the conversation. Exit the chat. We talking to the girls who haven't done it yet, because obviously something just ain't clicking with y'all. You done seen this story time and time again. You done watched it happen sometimes with your mama, your grandma, your friend.
Right. Why is that always the case? The biggest opposition to this is women who feel like they're being judged when somebody says something like this. When somebody talks about their current situation, nobody's talking about you. There's a preservation that needs to go on into the future. And I hope this becomes more of a trend where women can talk this freely about issues like this. Because as I said many, many times before, you hear it from a man and you automatically take it as an attack. You automatically think he's bashing.
Yeah, because if you already did it, you learned your lesson and you doing better, great. Love that for you. Exit the conversation. Exit the chat. We talking to the girls who haven't done it yet. Because obviously something just ain't clicking with y'all. You done seen this story time and time again. You done watched it happen sometimes with your mama, your grandma, your friend, your cousin, your sister's cousin's friend. It continuously, you see it happening over and over again. And somehow it just ain't ringing a bell to you that you probably shouldn't just be out here having babies by these men so easily when so many women have gotten finessed in the process. How many women do you have to watch get finessed into having babies by the wrong man before you realize you should probably take better precautions than those women did? Y'all say that y'all don't want people talking about it. You feel like it's shaming. You feel like it's judgmental. Oh, well. If y'all lived lives that you were proud of and wasn't ashamed of, you wouldn't be so upset and triggered when you heard people bring up things that you was guilty of, right? Because that's what happens. I cannot make you feel ashamed of something you're not ashamed of. But if you already feel some kind of way about the life decisions you've made and you hear me say it, then yeah, it can trigger you. It can pull on your insecurities when you already have.
Trigger alert. Trigger alert.
Internal issues that you fighting and battling with, and when I say something about it, it just ignites it for you. Yeah, that's a real thing. That's not my problem. That's a personal problem. Take it up with God, right? Figure that out. Work that out. Go talk to the lady. But I don't have anything to do with your internal issues and the battles that you fight about the choices you made with the free will that God gave you. I know it's got to be crazy when God looked down on us and he see how much y'all can't take accountability when he gave you free will. He gave you the ability to make decisions with your life, however you wanted it to go, whatever you wanted to do. He gave you that option to be able to do that. And with that free will, you decided to make choices and decisions. And then when it's time to stand in them, try to put it off on somebody else. He lied to me. He deceived me. He fooled me. He tricked. How many times are y'all going to get tricked and fooled? Right? Ain't y'all the ones with the degrees? Ain't y'all the ones who always auto-correcting somebody in the comment section? Imagine being able to tell somebody that they spelt the word wrong, but you couldn't pick your baby daddy right. It's like y'all don't even think that we see the men that y'all out here having babies by. It be men like this that y'all want us to believe that you got deceived by. Nothing about this man said father figure, role model, husband, good man. Nothing about him said any of that. But you want us to believe that you got deceived and tricked. You want us to believe this loser Pookie deceived and tricked you? Oh no, we can look right at him and know he wasn't hitting on nothing. Right? We can look right at him and know it. And you did too. But you was having a time of your life laying up having unprotected sex with him. And you was having a ball until it wasn't fun no more. Until you realized what he was really what he was and it wasn't going to change. That's when the script changed. That's when it wasn't fun no more. That's when now we got to get on the internet and hear you complaining about how all men are this and that and how you need all of these requirements met. But you didn't need all those requirements met when you was dealing with him. Why you didn't need all them requirements met when you was dealing with him? Let me give y'all a harsh truth. A lot of y'all wouldn't even have no kids if you could only get pregnant if the man that you wanted would marry you. Let me break it down slow for some of y'all.
I don't have my bomb sound effect, but she dropping bombs, y'all. I'm no doubt about it. She's dropping bombs. She's dropping them bombs. Woo. And then another dude brought it up in a video. Like they have a lot of problems with her because she kind of represents something that they can't argue with because of what some women value. You know, she's got the long hair. She's attractive. She's getting her body together. I think she she's working out, got her body together. You know, like a lot of women will be like, well, yeah, I just gotta take it. So instead of just taking it, taking the note, internalizing it, they'll just get mad at her. You'll see them snapping at her for somehow doing something wrong by saying all this logic and all this that's right. Like I said, she's not perfect, obviously, but I think this is where we need to see more women being. We need to see more women taking a stance, a hardline stance against the women that are giving them a bad reputation. And if that isn't happening,
If the only way you could get pregnant was that the man that you wanted, the man you actually want, would have to marry you first, a lot of y'all would not be mothers. You know why? Because a lot of the men that y'all dealt with didn't want you in that way. They only wanted to have sex with you, and you just so happened to get pregnant, and because it was your body, your choice, you got to keep it. But you don't get to dictate marriage. You can dictate keeping that baby, but you can't dictate getting the man that you actually want to marry you. You cannot force him to do that. Either he want to or he don't. And most of the time, they don't. And they finesse you into not wanting it too, because you know you'll never get it out of them. I know a lot of these conversations go over y'all head, and I have to remember I'm dealing with a group of girls who think that they got high standards because they turned down ice cream dates, but they smashed dudes from Tinder on the same day because he bought a surf and turf. So I understand how these conversations go over y'all head and y'all miss it because y'all are backwards. You are backwards. Your understanding and comprehension is backwards. But I'm going to continue to keep talking about this because the community is suffering. The kids are suffering. And y'all don't want to change it. You don't want to get to the root of the problem, but I'm going to keep getting to the root of the problem.
she should be some women's clarion call, but instead they'll take it as she's attacking them and she'll become their worst enemy. This is how backwards things are. This is what she's talking about. You know, the leaps in logic that are happening. That ice cream date point is so important because you'll settle for laying down with a man, and sometimes at the exact same time, you'll disrespect a man for not taking you out, not planning a date, not wanting to spend a bunch of money on a woman that he just met. But then at the same time, if you get that tingle, all of a sudden you laying down for less than nothing. Matter of fact, you paying, you putting out money. So a lot of dudes feel this dual standard, you know what I mean? That you're not standing for anything. You know, since there is no standards, a lot of times men will act accordingly. You know, they'll just avoid you entirely if they know you're gonna complain about going out on a date to get to know you, a date to get some coffee or, you know, a drink or two, you know. If you're not going all out $300 dinners, man, that's a waste of money. And I think a lot of men know it's a waste of money. Anyway, what do y'all think about it? Let me know what you think about it in the comments. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe. Hit the bell notification for all uploads. If you want to see more, please click one of these videos down below. This is Faucet Media.